Hello, my name is Jaxu and today is again with me Ghost,
Howdy.
and we're gonna talk about all the changes coming to Battlefield 5. So let me start with returning of the war stories. What do you think about that?
I can't wait to see them. They mentioned that they were going to try and base them around actual people, so I assume they're going to go into some of the conflicts in the opening stages of the World War, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. There was definitely a lot of changes they can make for the better from the old war stories, um, but I assume, depending on how accurately they want to follow these real people they want to follow, I guess that'll determine how good it receives them.
Yep. I really hope to that we just won't only will not only see like the good aspects of the war. I mean, if we could also like take a look at people from, I don't know, from the Axis, like from Germany, from Japan, Italy, they also could put something. I actually at the end of the war they could put a person from Germany, so they really can do many stuff with it, and I hope they will make it first good, long, and they will just put their time and effort to make this good.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's go straight. Okay, now we got combined arms, which is just co-op that returns from Battlefield 3. I played the whole co-op in BF3. I don't know if you did, but it was nice. Like, it was okay. It was nice. It wasn't really a big thing. I mean, you just play it and then you forget about it. But it was nice that it was just here, like for just a different option to play. And the fact that we
Yeah.
can play, I guess, max 4 players and stuff, we can just find friends and have fun with it. And as I know, it will have different, I guess, different objectives maybe each time or something like that, so it won't be the same always. So what do you think about this?
I never played the combined arms from number three, but I really look forward to seeing how it is because I think a lot of that friend to friend multiplayer action, not just a massive multiplayer, but specifically what we're dealing with here, I think a lot of that has been lost in a lot of the modern games. And I think that little couch sharing opportunity. I think depending on how well they deliver it, I think the community would really appreciate that. I mean, I would. You know what I mean?
Yep. So okay, let's go. And next we got just multiplayer, which of course we will get to see 64 player multiplayer matches. The returning of course we will have conquest as always, and we will get I guess the most interesting thing is grand operations, which will be just even bigger operations from BF1, and that means that we will see, of course it will be on different maps, it will be different modes. I won't really go into detail about it, but it really sounds interesting that we will just look at the real operations that happened during World War II. What do you think
Yeah.
about this?
I think it'll be interesting to see how they tweak it from Battlefield 1, especially with the announcement that didn't they say there would be no behemoths in the new
Yeah, there
operations?
will be no behemoths. There will be no behemoths in the game.
Yeah, I think I look at that question because I understand what the purpose of the behemoths was. So now that they're taking it out, I look forward to seeing what how they're going to tweak operations and what's going to keep it new and fresh, or if they're going to stick to the formula that made it work minus the behemoths. You know what I mean?
Yep. And of course, that's I guess an information from yesterday, but we got another mode confirmed that it's called Airborne, and it's like that one team will just jump out of the planes, and their objective will be just to destroy the enemy artillery. But at the start of the game, the enemy team will just sit at the all anti-air guns and can just take many easy kills just by destroying all the planes. What do you think about this? Actually, pretty nice idea.
I think it could be a really cool and immersive experience if it's done correctly. I can very easily see how this might turn into just a shooting fest where, because player controlled AA is the most dangerous AA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they manage to butcher this somehow, or at least after tweaking, if they don't do it right, it could be very well slip into just one of the forgotten game modes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There are many in the Battlefield series, so that's good that they don't make many modes, so they can focus on the things they're doing.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go. Okay. Next we got Tides of War, which is just the whole live service thing that they will just support the whole game during its lifetime. So that means we will see free content, of course. Don't know how, if this will be just one map per fucking sorry per 6 months or stuff, but I hope they will just do it correctly, and it will just be, for example, that's we get the start of the game, and we focus on the fall of Europe, and when we're gonna go closer to the next battlefield, we're gonna go closer to the end of the war, which means we will see like action, nations, guns, and maps from like 1945, 1944. So what do you think about this?
I look well. Getting a chance for the actual, Battlefield developers, the ones who care about the content of the game, starting to release free content, kind of like TF2 did. Where the studio is still developing the game, even though it's already free to play. I think that's a real interesting opportunity to elaborate, to really, show the community that we're not just going to abandon this game after a set deadline and just leave you with whatever broken fish we leave you with. We're going to try and continue to perfect it all the way up until the next Battlefield comes out, and even a little bit afterwards.
Yep. I hope they will just do it correctly. And okay, so the next thing is just new mechanics, as we saw. A few of them is just sprinting while crouching. That's little things, but they really matter. Laying prone on your back, jumping through a window, and of course we get also a thing that I guess everyone can revive their squad members by just there's an animation between it and everything, but the most important thing is that you can actually drag people. You can take their hand or something and drag them into cover and then revive them.
Yeah, I could count on. I could go on for days just talking about instances where on like Battlefield 1, I would be a medic or a support for my team, and I'd have to charge head first into, machine gun fire or dodging sniper fire, and having to stop and try and lay prone if that would help, and try and whop out the syringe and revive them. And especially if you miss that first revive as you run by, you got to circle back around, and then your path is predictable. So I mean, I want to see how this work. I can't imagine. Like, could you grab them and run real fast to pull them into cover? Otherwise, you're just two slow-moving targets. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see how that would work out. But the idea sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it sounds good on paper, but let's see how it will really work. Okay, so next.
Yeah, because otherwise.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say one more thing. Because if it's too much of a hassle, if you're already there, why not just revive them? Unless reviving won't be instant anymore. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. So next thing is I pointed it out squad leader, and I mean by that from now on your whole squad will somehow achieve, I guess, points or something. It works kinda like the kill streak from Call of Duty, when you get certain kills and then you can just use a special, I don't know, special vehicle or something like that. So that means that if you and your squad will just play the game in PTFO, you will like have many abilities like calling a V1 rocket, calling a supply drop, calling a tank or something like this. What do you think of this? It actually reminds you a little bit of COD, and I don't know if this is the correct way. And imagine like everyone using V1 rockets every time. I guess they will just balance it so it's not a easy price, you know?
Right. Well, do you remember the old commander position from the older battlefields?
Yep. Yeah, I remember.
Uh, I think because you remember you could a squad, to the squad leader that was calling it. You could call an artillery, and you could sorta, if everybody was playing for the same team, direct them, direct the squads to attack certain points. And I think they're trying to do this a little bit more, give a little bit more variety for the individual squad leader. For most multiplayer matches, everybody, a squad isn't necessarily a tight group, but if you're playing with your friends, you get a lot more functionality out of your little squad unit there. If the squad leader is able to bring in extra components, maybe a drop or something like that to resupply your position, because how many times were you out there and you're just cut off and you got to hunker down, you know what I mean? Or you got to hold the point while everybody else responds. So I think they're trying to give a little bit more of a dynamic on the squadron level, not necessarily the whole team like the older battlefields did with the the overall commander.
Yeah, and also just many times the whole point of the squad leader was just to give orders what objectives people should take, and they tried many things to just make people do it, but most of the times people just don't really care about it, and I guess that's also a thing that people will just want to be a squad leader, and they will just use orders and just play as they should, as they squad leader they should do. Yeah, you know what I mean. I just
Yeah, I get that.
so they
The only way you can get a squad, right? The only way I can see them as trying to affect how a squad is supposed to work together is by adding more incentive to do so. So I think this is their approach to that.
Yeah, I also think so. Okay, so let's go. And the next thing which I'm really actually excited is fortifications. And what is it? We can build like sandbags, foxholes, we can place like cannons or stuff like that, which is really interesting for me, because in every most of the battlefields, the whole main thing was just attack, offense, 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 but really you never got a chance to just play defense in a nice way. But now I guess that really allows you many things, that you won't just be rushing and dying every time,
Right. Now, from what I hear, the fortifications will be only in special locations, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how they do this, this could easily just be a botched, component to the game, where the fortifications are in illogical positions, or they're so open nobody uses them because they're impossible to build. However, if they are put logically, because it will take some tinkering, I have no doubts, but just the idea that it's like, hey, not only can we hold this position, but we can add on to it. What do you think would be best? Do you think a foxhole will work? Or do you think maybe a cannon, sandbags? I think that'll be another interesting dynamic to the gameplay of the individual, like on the ground level, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, if I'm correct, we will be able not only to destroy like buildings, we can also repair them. So that's also a nice feature, but we will see how it will work. Okay, so the next thing is just no more premium pass, no loot boxes, which just means we won't get any more premium like we get in Battlefield 3, 4, and Hardline and 1, and no more loot boxes which are pay to win like in Battlefront 2. What do you think of this? Of course, it's awesome to hear that, but I think there might be they just can do something different with this. I'm not sure that.
Right.
Yeah.
If I had to put one way to say it, it would be it's about time. I'm still not sure how they're going to do about this. EA has gone back on their word before, so I'm kind of crossing my fingers on this one. I really hope they follow through because I think it would mean a lot to the player community who's been begging on their knees to not do these things. Because if there's one thing the player doesn't want to feel like, it's that the game is only a means to rob the player of much money as possible. Nobody wants to feel that way when they're trying to play a game they enjoy. So the fact that they've made this announcement and paid special attention to it, I think we might be able to finally see some change in how the company handles the policy here.
Yeah, but also the one thing they actually did already is that the game is more expensive than it was always, I guess. You need to really pay much for the deluxe edition and even for the standard, so that's the first thing I guess EA want to do. So they will just put in the whole price the premium pass in the whole game and pretend that there's no premium pass, you know.
Be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I get that. And if people are going to have complaints, because you know there's going to be somebody out there who's complaining that they spiked the prices on the other things, but at the end of the day, you know, they made a game to make money. They love it because it's, you know, the developers love it, the Battlefield community loves the game for, you know, various reasons. It's almost a form of art at this point, but, you know, the company still has to make money. And I'm willing to make some sacrifices with an increase of pay if it means that the content I get will be paid for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next thing, that is customization. Maybe you will start talking about it.
Customization. Oh boy. There's several games I've played that customization was done more or less correctly. You know, you could customize your character within the boundaries of the theme of the game. You know, you had this in kind of like, it might be heresy to bring up, but Call of Duty kind of got this right from the beginning, where you could customize your character, but it was all things from World War II. You know, World War II gas masks or uniforms of different units during the war. And then you've got other games who just take it to the extreme, like TF2 has always been a kind of cartoony game, but you know you have like the hat addiction almost, where you know you've got thousands upon thousands of hats, and then you have what we saw in the trailer, where we're looking at almost cartoony levels. I mean, you know, we still got to wait to see what customization is really like. All we have is the pre-rendered trailer at that. But I believe they could definitely take it too far, you know, where it just kind of breaks the immersion that this is World War II instead of some knockoff parallel wonky cartoon, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, the fact.
But I think it's.
No? Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, I think it's about time. People have always wanted a little bit of variety, a little bit, so they could just put on their little personal touch on their guy that's about to go run out and die 1,000 times. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of that touch. And I think Battlefield heard it. And from what we can see, we can speculate they may have taken a little bit too far, but I'm holding most of my reservations until I actually see the feature.
Yeah, I hope the whole, like, the bionic arms and stuff will be just really hard to get, you know, that you will really need to spend a lot of time, a lot of hours playing the game to get it, you know, so not everyone will just have it. That's also a thing that they could do.
I mean, if they would add it, all I'm saying is if they put a wheelchair in the game, I'm going to get it. I'm going to be rolling around in a wheelchair, being a high roller with a large machine gun in my lap, screaming wildly at my TV.
You will be a sentry, huh?
Yeah, we'll call it Hell on Wheels. Rolling around the battlefield on this old little wheelchair, you know, somebody pushing me in the back.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's go to the last thing, and I will not really much talk about it because I don't really know the details. But there will be a thing called company, and that means they describe it that you can just customize your soldiers, vehicles and everything, and I guess you save it in that way so it always is the same, and then you can, when you play the game, you just have those soldiers. I mean, you create those soldiers and then you have them. it's not like you can, I guess, in game edit them every time you die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really
Uh,
a big thing, but I wanted to mention it also.
yeah, like a preset system of skins and customization.
Yeah, I guess
It
it's
seems pretty. Yeah, it seems pretty self-explanatory. I'd be interested. Well, I mean, I'm interested to see the game in the whole. I know I've said that a lot, but
yeah,
I mean, each one of these categories and new things they make, like the ability to jump through a window instead of having to stand there under fire, hatcheting away at the window panes.
yeah,
I think even the small details, like company customization, it's good to see that these things, specifically what was on a lot of players' minds, especially after Battlefield 1, is coming to light. We're finally seeing now. Does that mean they'll regress in other areas? I don't know. I hope not.
yeah,
But being that I mean, I don't think it's any coincidence that they've taken a lot of the things that a lot of people had a problem with Battlefield 1. They've taken them and be like, okay, let me try and better it for the next game. Let's see what we can do with this as the player community will want, with still being open to introduce new players. Like, hey, don't worry, you want a little bit of customization? We got it. You don't want to buy premium? We got it. You don't want it to be pay to win? We're not, So, I think all in all, I'm interested in looking at the changes, and I look forward to perhaps purchasing my own copy of Battlefield 5 as soon as possible, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. As I'm also a veteran and a fan of Battlefield, I will probably also get the game. But we will see how it will look overall. It sounds like a really good Battlefield, maybe even a better that we got from many years. But we just have now to wait for EA Play, which will be, I guess, in a week, and then we will get many informations and real gameplay. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again for doing a video together, and see you guys in the next one.